Hello, welcome to another podcast. I'm very excited for this one. I've got a crisis loan and I've got a new shirt and a tie just for the occasion. We're joined by a rising star of the UFC. It's Mr. Mike Grundy. How are we doing, sir?
Going good, thanks.
I've been doing loads of research on you. To the extent I've been going through your wheelie bins, seeing what you eat and stuff, and finding jammy dodger wrappers and all that. So, Mike, how did you get from Wigan to the UFC? How did that journey all start?
Well, I first started wrestling. Freestyle wrestling, which is actually quite well known in Wigan. I mean, Roy Wood, people
The
like
Snake
that.
Pit.
Snake Pit, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, back in days, I think it was called the Snake Pit, wasn't it? With Billy Riley, Ernie Riley, people like that, whoever. And Roy was there as well, so proper old school shed, I think it was.
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
days.
yeah.
But when I was younger, I was 6. I was quite a shy kid and weren't too confident. And I ended up going to wrestling just to try it out. I didn't even know my dad did it, but he did it when he was younger.
Okay.
He went to the Snake Pit or whatever it was in Welly. So I said, Dad, I want to try wrestling, and it was an unusual sport for try. I mean, it's not popular in this country at all. So he took me anyway, and I was only a small kid. My dad calls me Runtit family, so because there's 5 of us, so he said I was Runtit family, but he took me there, and the coach Roy Wood said I was a natural, and I carried on from there really, because it built me confidence. Someone giving me a bit of give me some praise and that really. So I carried on.
There's different styles of wrestling. What style did you do? Am I right? There's catch wrestling, Greco-Roman. Are they all kind of similar?
They're similar. So like catch wrestling was they reckon it was originated in Wigan, and that was
Right.
So it's a bit of history in it, but
Fucking hell.
there's locks and things in that. You can't choke them, but you can put like nasty locks on.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can break people's arms and things like that, and you have to kind of pin them on the back. Whereas freestyle wrestling, you can't really go against the joints. It's more about taking them down, scoring points, and pinning them. And then there is Greco wrestling as well, which is you can't touch the legs at all. It's all upper body.
Okay.
A
Right.
lot of throws.
This kind of thing, like, well, not
Yeah.
obviously that's what I mean though.
It's quite tough. The Greco lads are strong.
Yeah, yeah.
Really strong, because obviously they're always just trying to pick each other up and throw them.
Before your time, what did Big Daddy do? Remember Big World of Sport, Big Daddy and Giant
Yeah.
Taste Stacks? What style was that? Was it fucking
That was
about?
that was fucking fake, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was before my time.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's still got to be fucking athletic to do it, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're athletic guys, them, and obviously it's like WWE now, isn't it? Everyone watches it all over
Yeah,
the world.
yeah.
Multi-millionaires, them, but it's obviously it's staged, isn't it?
But like I said though, they have to be fit and know what they're doing because they're throwing each other about, doing them body slams and shit like
Well, a
that.
lot of them are ex-wrestlers.
Yeah,
but a lot of kids, like, because I have my own gym down here at Wigan,
Yeah.
a lot of kids come into the gym, I want to try WWE, these younger ones. And so it does help our sport a little bit,
Yeah.
even though it's not fake. So you get them into it, and then,
Yeah.
they start enjoying just wrestling normally.
Yeah. So, what age did you start competing at wrestling?
I started wrestling training when I was 6. I think I did my first competition when I was 7. You meant to be 8 really, but they put me in and got me in at 7. And I did, like I said, I did well. I mean, from 9-year-old, I didn't lose in national championships for a good 10 years.
Really,
so it was
yeah.
a long time. In my junior career, I didn't lose too much in this country.
And sorry, I'm cutting.
No, you're good,
Carry
you're
on.
good.
No, I'm not. I think I'm autistic. I always like butt into people's conversations.
No, you're all right.
I'm sorry, Mike. But so from wrestling, right? What age did you switch from wrestling to UFC? And did you make it to a professional wrestler?
So there's no like professional wrestling. I
Okay.
mean, you'd say professional wrestling, you say it's WWE.
Oh right, that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it really. So amateurs, it's just an Olympic sport. So my dream was always to go Olympics or the Commonwealth Games and medal really. So I mean, I did my wrestling career. 2007, I got a lot of medals, and I went up to international. I've travelled all over the world. It's given me a lot of great things.
Yeah.
And I went to 2010 Commonwealth Games, and I got fifth there in the thing. So I was disappointed because I got fifth in the Commonwealth Games in India. It was, and then after that, I kind of fell out with wrestling a little bit.
Gutted, like.
Not because I'd lost. It was just there was a lot of politics. Just for me to get to 2010 Commonwealth Games, it was just some politics I'd get through kind of thing. So I got there and then, but I got fifth, and then I fell out with it, and I started fighting then in 2011. I had my amateur debut in 2011 then, and then I did 3 years at amateur fighting, and then I come back to wrestling for a year to do the 2014 Commonwealth Games, which was in Glasgow. I felt I had unfinished business. I knew I could have done better than what I did before. So I come back and I did a year, and I got bronze in Commonwealth Games then.
And then from there, you just decided to switch to MMA.
Then I went full MMA. Then 2014, I made my professional debut on probably the biggest show in UK, which was Bama at the time.
Right.
And I racked up 3 wins quite quick.
So, right, your fighting style, from obviously your foundation style of your MMA is wrestling. That's your foundation.
Yeah.
What other styles do you incorporate into your style?
So I mean, you've got to, these days especially. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's quite well rounded. Do you know what I mean? But obviously I started with wrestling, but I've had to learn how to box and Thai box and kick and punch and all that type of stuff. And then also my jiu-jitsu on the ground as well, where you're choking people out.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting locks on. So there is a lot to get through and a lot to learn. So that's obviously why it took so long. You know, I started my amateur debut in 2011.
Yeah.
And it's 2021. I've been in UFC since 2019. So you can see it took me 8 years to get to that top level. Obviously, I was fighting in, you know, local shows. I mean, I went to Japan, I went to Brazil and fought, and won belts there and stuff. But yeah, to get to UFC, it's a long road.
So I've got a long way to go then, really, haven't I, basically?
You'll probably smash it, to be honest.
just jump on
Just jump in.
Yeah, that's it. Use my ties and headband, like, you know, like Karate Kid and shit. So, do you know when you was first in UFC, obviously it took you time to develop your fighting craft. Was it wrestling heavy at the first, your style, but then eventually you incorporated various styles and just it came to what you've got now, kind of thing. Your arsenal of...
Yeah, so early doors, like I said, definitely with my amateur career and my early professional career, it was just all wrestling heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was takedown, you know, fucking punch them, finish the fight, or choke them, finish the fight, and that's how up till about, I'd say, even most of me professional. It was actually only my UFC debut 2019 where I TKO'd someone, because most of them, I had eight chokes on my record.
Yeah.
Out of 12 fights, I had 8 chokes on my record, and then a couple of decisions, and then, you know, then I got a TKO for my debut in UFC, which no one expected. I mean, if you put a bet on that, you're going to win some money, because no one expected me to TKO, because I never had one. It's all like taking people down and choking them. But there's a story behind that, why I got that, because 3 weeks before my fight, my debut, which is obviously my dream where I wanted to be in the UFC,
Yeah.
I tore my hamstring pretty bad, grade 2 bad tear, and obviously, you know, I wasn't going to pull out the fight. He was where he wanted to be all since I ever started my MMA career. So I did 3 weeks where I could only box. I couldn't wrestle because that would hurt my hamstring a little bit more. So and anyway, I got into it back warming up and whatever, and my coach said do a leg attack kind of thing. He thought, you know, it eased off my hamstring. He said, just do a leg attack. This is when I was warming up, and I'd done a leg attack and I could feel it. I didn't tell him. I just said to myself, I'm just going to fucking box here. Anyway, I went out and I boxed and I TKO'd him, you know, and it was a blessing in disguise, really, but because I got my first TKO.
He probably wasn't expecting that as well, because obviously, like, when you fight someone, you watch videos of them, don't you, to like analyse the style and, you know, trying to predict what they're going to do, kind of thing. So that probably kind of like threw him a curveball.
Yeah, it did. You know, he just expecting somebody coming and taking him down, and that was it. You know, took him down once or twice, but he was more faking the takedowns, cracking with right hand, fake the takedown, and I managed to catch him with left hook, it dropped him. So it was the wrestling still helped, but I wasn't taking him down like.
Fair play, but and there's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Do you use some of them moves as well, kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I use them a lot. You know, like I said, 8 fights on my record. I've had 14 fights now professionally. They're all chokes and finishes. So, you know, that's my game really. I've been to jiu-jitsu tournaments and won them as well. So,
Really,
yeah.
It all started with Bruce. Well, they said Bruce Lee was the father of MMA, wasn't it? But it kind of, I heard there was a wrestler called Gene Tunney who incorporated boxing and wrestling, but Bruce Lee is kind of seen into his like the.
They say like he was.
He brought it to where it became more philosophical.
Yeah, so
I'm thinking that, you know.
Back in his time, you know, he was kind of the one who, you know, he did mix everything, didn't he? You know, he just loved martial arts, and he trained every martial art, didn't he? And put it together, really. So I suppose you could say that.
because in the sense of every style has a good points and it has inherent weaknesses. Like I suppose, I mean, I've done bits of it and like fucking about kind of thing. I did. So for example, that Wing Chun is all hand movements and things like that, but they get you down on floor.
What can you do?
It's like I suppose that's what it goes for boxing as well, doesn't it? You can be a great boxer and they get you down on floor.
That's it. I mean, that's why they say wrestling for MMA is the in between. You know, I mean, that's the one you kind of want to start off with because, and I'm obviously biased because I'm my wrestling's background.
Yeah.
If you know, if you want to stay on the feet, you need to learn how to wrestle to stop their takedown, and if you want to take it down, you need to learn how to wrestle to take them down. So it's the in between kind of thing. You know, you can't just come in being a boxer these days because you're going to get took down. You know what I mean? You're going to get choked.
Do you think MMA has a spirit, where most of them have kind of a spiritual side to them, like martial arts, traditional ones? Do you think there is that in MMA, or MMA is purely more mechanical? Straight, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. Like,
I think it's still a bit old school, really. Just grind and work hard and you know and get to where you want to be. Really, there might be some you know who think about that type of stuff. I don't personally. You know what I mean? I'm coming from a wrestling, just a gritty, hard-working background. That's it. I don't think about the spiritual side of things really.
No, just as long.
But there probably is. You know, there probably is some who do stuff like that.
Yeah,
because think about that.
Because some of them would do MMA. They perceive not the obviously the professional ones, but there's some like shit houses, isn't there? Like you know, coke dealers and steadheads. And so I'm not saying for one instance you're one of them. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the UFC, the fucking knobheads who do it kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean there has been some bad publicity with obviously fighters who's fought in the UFC because you know they've done something bad or done something like that. You know, there's a few who's maybe smashed the wife up or whatever, beat the wife up or something like that. So there is a few that's probably give us a bad name, but you know it's because they think obviously UFC's barbaric. So it doesn't help the situation. But we're not all like that. Most UFC fighters are humble, they're respectful, and you know what I mean. They just get on with what they're going to do. They're family men, really, most of them.
I think it's the same for anything. The people who are really successful at the do are really like cool and chilled, and it's the ones who are not at the bottom who are like shithouses and kind of like mouth off or anything, not just martial arts and things. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't know much about UFC kind of thing. The only name I knew was like Conor McGregor or something, because you're fucking Gary Boardman, hello. He goes on stalking missions on Twitter, and saying like. You know, and I was surprised when you got back because most people say him, no, fuck off, like you know what I mean, kind of thing. But so I've just been having a look, and I've really enjoyed watching it, like and your fights kind of thing, and
yes,
you've got some true grit about you, though. You're fucking hard, aren't you? Because I'm just saying this. These are my research papers. It's like the best. You know, my notes for Tesco after, but I've also got some research.
Don't believe any shit you found on.
No, I'm not. There's nothing. I'm not going to bring shit up because I know you're hard. You know what I mean? You grind me up into a lump on floor kind of thing. Man, you did. I could get on sick more. You know, I could probably get a mobility scooter if you beat me up here and like damage my spine or something. I'm like, anyway. Yeah, that lad, and his name's, I thought to write it down. Movsler Everlove, and you fought him. Yeah. And you broke your joint first round.
First round, yeah.
But you can't see. I was trying to work out where he'd done it because I thought he'd done it when he got you down and put his arm around you or something like that. But did he punch you in the jaw? Is that what happened?
Well, when I first did it, that was actually my last fight. But when I come out to the fight and I finished the fight, obviously everything's a bit blurry. You know, you're thinking, but. Because everything's been so rushed and your adrenaline's just coming down. But I thought I'd done it from the punch. But when I look back on the video and I slowed it all down and whatever, I think it was the first leg attack I did. Right. I think I smashed it on his hip or he's kicked at a similar time and I smashed it on his knee, because when I took him down, I could remember thinking back to the fight, I was on top of him and he was just throwing little punches from bottom, but he was hitting me in the side of the face here, and I could remember, fucking hell, they hit a bit them, and they don't usually hurt. You can usually just take them whatever and carry on with what you're doing. But I thought, fucking hell, they made me feel a bit uncomfortable, so I had to move my head a bit. So when I watched back on the video, I think I've done it on a leg attack, banged on his hip or his knee. Because also what you can see the dent inside of my face, because I broke it 3 places here. You can't see it now because I had the operation. But down the side of my face, there was a dent. So I think I broke it on the first leg attack, and then when he's punched, I think it was about 3 minutes into the fight, he caught me with a right hand here, and that's what's made it worse. And then my vision went then. Not like black, but it was
blurred.
Very blurred.
Really,
it was like just a figure in front of me. It was like that for about till. It was right throughout the fight, but not as bad. The first round was the worst. It was like I come out from when the bell goes after the first round. I remember standing in the middle of the cage and I had to wait for my coach and the cut man to come and get me because I didn't know where my corner was. So he got me and he took me to my corner. But that's how blurred it was after the first round. The second round I got a bit better and the third round got better than that. But the jaw was definitely broke. Like.
And he was a slippy little fucker, him, wasn't he? He kept like getting into your moves, didn't he, and everything like that, you know. But
he did, yeah. He was a slippery little, yeah. He fought the guy who I was supposed to fight when I said obviously I got to London and they said I couldn't fight due to COVID. They put him in place of me, the guy who beat me last month. So he went and fought the guy who I was supposed to fight, and he won him.
It made me quite angry. I wanted to find out where he lived and send loads of pizzas to his house or something, you know, and shit like that. But, you know, so...
They even do pizzas in Russia, though.
Is that where he actually fought, in Russia?
No, he's from Russia, though.
Yeah, but where was the fight held?
Beetroot and cabbage, innit?
It probably is, isn't it, kind of thing. And what else? They have Coca-Cola over there, but I don't know what they actually have over there. Mike, you'll soon find out. I don't know the fuck I'm going on about. You know,
he actually trains in America, to be honest, now in Mobsar.
Have you fought in America?
No, I've not.
Not yet.
I want to fight in Vegas. First place I cornered one of my teammates was in MGM Vegas, packed out arena, and I come out obviously as a corner man, and it was fucking the atmosphere was unreal. And I've always said to myself after that day, I want to fight in here. And obviously I was supposed to fight in Vegas, but it wouldn't have been at sold out arena. It would have been in a small place because of the COVID now. Yeah. So hopefully that gets a chance to happen one day. Like that's where I want to fight.
It sounds like you've lived. You've done quite a bit already, haven't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been about with all this carry on, haven't you? Like, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, I've cornered at like I say in Vegas a couple of times. Yeah. I've been there a few times, and then New York at the Mandalay Bay. Is it? No, it's not Mandalay Bay. What's the famous one?
That's giving me. I've never been out to Lawrence.
I'm saying it. I've got to Google it. Madison Square. There you go. I've cornered
there as well. Yeah.
I've cornered Madison Square Garden with Darren Till.
Yeah.
And then obviously Echo it's been mad. Like it's been good.
Are you good mates with Darren Till then? Yeah.
Oh, we train every day. Yeah. We're training each other every day. It's fucking hard work, like.
It's good that this lockdown's not stopped you from training, isn't it? That would have been a fucker, wouldn't it, if they'd said you can't train anymore.
For elite athletes, I mean, we've got to earn our money, haven't we? I mean, UFC, we've took a massive risk by keeping it going during this pandemic. You know, even Dana took us to Abu Dhabi where he could. So
you've met him, Dana. Did he like sign you up?
I've met him once in Vegas when I went to when I was training for Darren to fight for the title against Tyron Woodley. So I met him there. He come and watch us train. But you know, I got signed up obviously through the matchmakers and stuff like that. Really, because I'd won. I think I was on a 8-fight winning streak when I got signed. Yeah. I beat domestically. I'd done everything I could, and I went to Japan and I won a 2-weight world champion over there, and then I went to Brazil and I beat a featherweight champion over there as well. So it's not much. I mean, they had to kind of snatch me up eventually. So,
what's the lifestyle of a professional fighter like? Do you have to train? Do you ever have rest periods from training, or saying when the world opens back up again, if it does, you know what I mean? Will you have to train? Will you train every day, or will you have like rest days, things like that? Your diet. Does your diet? I mean, you've got a black coffee now, kind of thing. You know, you don't mind me telling people you drink black coffee, do you? Do people get offended, racial, you know? But so will your diet all year after be kind of like bob on, and you train every day? Is that, or can we have rest periods and eat what you want sometimes?
So, me personally, no. I'll train all year round, and I'll eat pretty well. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'll have a binge after a fight.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You know, you've got to enjoy yourself, obviously, but mainly I'm all year round training, and that's the way our coach likes it, because if I'm not fighting, then one of my teammates might be fighting, so I need to be in to help him, just like he was in to help me. And that's the way we work as a team, and you know, it works well. There's a lot of loyalty involved in sport, in this kind of sport. You know what I mean? you need a training partner. You need to be fighting with each other. So
Yeah.
it's not fair if I go and train for my fight and everyone's in for me, and then after that I've got to go and have 2 months off.
Yeah.
So no, we're pretty much all year round.
Do you love it? Is it your life being a fighter?
It is my life, yeah.
Yeah.
I live the life as well. You get some people who won't, you know, they will fight and then they will have a few months off and eat shit and go fat and then try and come back and you know, it takes them fucking 2 months to lose the weight and then get back into fight shape. It's not the way I do it.
No.
I do live the life. You know, I mean, I'm fucking can't well have a week off training.
So I've had a few fighters on here, but the most like bare knuckle and stuff like that. But there's a usual theme running through fighters' lives of they were bullied at school and all that, and one day something happened. But that's not the case for you, was it?
Not for me. No, I wasn't bullied.
You were 6 years old when you got into this.
I started wrestling at 6.
Yeah. So you was probably taking everybody else's toffees off them, weren't you?
No, I'm not a bully, but
I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've heard that story like JSP similar, you know what I mean, but no, not the case for me.
Have you never?
There's no chance. I mean, there was like I said, there's 5 of us.
Yeah.
The only person who bullied me was my brother, probably. He was older than me.
Well, now though, you could beat them all up, like, and take the wages off them if you wanted. I mean, no, you're not like that kind of thing.
No.
But
I'd like get my brother back, like, for all them fucking beatings I've had off him. And again, it's made me hard.
but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, so they reckon, doesn't it? Kind of thing. I've got a few questions from the floor. You don't mind if we have a mooch through?
No worries, mate.
Thank you for coming, Mike. Anyway.
No problem.
Right. Well, I'm going to go off people's name. We have live streams, and these are YouTube names, a lot of them. So if I come out with something daft before the question, it doesn't mean like my mental illness is advancing. It just means these people who write.
So is this people who's wrote in?
Yeah, these are people who've.
Are they legit questions?
I wouldn't have any piss taking questions. No, I don't want to get tied in knots. You know. Cool Tools is his name.
Cool Tools.
Are you someone who concentrates on groundwork, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, what you spelt wrong, I think? There's a lot of fights end up on the ground.
I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, I work to my strengths.
Yeah.
I still train my strengths, which is wrestling and probably jiu-jitsu mainly. So yeah, I'll always. I mean, you have to practice everything. Like I said, these days, especially being in UFC, everyone's good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no easy fight in UFC, so you've got to make sure you're 100% at everything.
Are you forever developing and trying new techniques, or do you just kind of have an arsenal of that covers everything kind of thing, or do you ever pick up a new technique? Or
You work different areas. You know, like for example, what I was saying before, I'm in training all year round because the times when I'm not got a fight scheduled. So when you've got a fight scheduled, 10 weeks out from that fight, you just concentrate on that person and what he does, and you know you're focusing on what you're going to do for him. So that's why you need to be in training in between, because that's the time to focus on them different techniques and different things that you want to work on, because you know you're not just concentrating on that one person.
Yeah, if I did that, then periods of a development kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
development. You know, your mind's not on a fight. You can work your technique a little bit more. When your mind's on a fight, everything's like 100 mile an hour, and you wanna work on how you're gonna dominate that guy.
How much do you study your opponents, like previous fights and stuff? Is that a big thing, or is it not? Is that not really?
For me, after I lost, sorry, I didn't really look at my opponents. I just let my coach deal with it, and he kind of looked at my opponents, and you know he kind of put things into training that worked for me for that opponent. But after that fight that I lost, I thought I'm going to change that. I'm going to start researching my opponent much more. You know, and I think that's definitely something I needed to do beforehand. So yeah, I studied my opponent now.
Yeah. What is the wear and tear like on the body and fights and things and injuries and things? Because you've been doing fighting since you was 6. Like, has it left any? What did you get bad knuckles or joints or anything like that? Or
yeah, I mean there is a lot of wear and tear on the body. I mean, especially wrestling since fucking 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My knees. I've already had 2-3 operations on my knees.
Really? Yeah.
And one knee, yeah. I've had 2 operations on my shoulder. I've had an operation on my jaw now. You know, I've got no cartilage in both shoulders.
Really? Was it actually
just worn
away?
So it's worn. So I've had to have an operation in one of them. I'll need an operation because that was worse than that one. They had an operation on. So I mean, no like career-ending injuries, but definitely wear and tear. Yeah, like I've got a bulging disc in my neck. That,
Really, yeah.
Just have to maintain really for now.
You look fit as a fiddle, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you look it, but like Yoda, you know what I mean? You're walking around like this and you fucking go at mat, you can fight, but it's
but that's not
definitely
like
a lot of wear and tear.
that's not like exclusive to you. I should imagine most of the fighters have got bad joints and things because like punching. I did some boxing training last year, and for one, I was training proper, like, and fucking hell, this is. There's no fucking about you.
No.
Some people in pub might say, "Oh, they're doing is fucking rolling about on the floor and they get millions of pounds," but or in a ring, but it's fuck all. It's not, is it? It's full on in it kind of thing. You know what I mean? And
yeah, you get a lot of people like that online on Instagram, Facebook, things like that. Do you know what I mean? Sitting there and making a comment and saying, you know, I had it after my last fight. Obviously, I lost my last fight. That's my only loss in 5 years. You know what I mean? I was on a 10.
Was this the Russian who did the job?
Yeah.
Was that was your first loss? Like,
that was my second loss, but it was 5 years before that I'd lost, and I was on a 10-fight winning streak. Do you know what I mean? So which is not easy to do in MMA. There's so many ways you can lose. Because make a small mistake, and you know you're gonna get choked out or knocked out or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways you can lose. But like I say, after that, I read a few comments, and there's people, you know, saying about this and that. This, you know, having the penny's worth on the finger.
So you get trolls as well. I mean,
not many, to be honest, because I'm a.
You go in the race, wouldn't you? Fucking do.
Not many, but because I can't just straightforward. This is who I am, and I'm not. I don't like. I don't speak shit about people. I'm just a humble guy. Do you know what I mean? If I spoke shit and I bigged up a big fight, and then it's a big fall in it. It's a big fall, and people's going to be on you straight away. I don't get too much of it, but you're going to get a couple, you know. I'm surprised because there's from Wigan as well, so you know, I have Wigan people, yeah.
Were they slagging you?
I've seen a couple of Wigan people slagging, yeah.
I think it's a lot. To be honest with you, it's jealousy, isn't it? A lot of folk is jealous, and you know what I mean. They just.
But you've got to let it go over your head. You're going to get. I'm going to get much more than that. The bigger and better I get. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
You know,
what does it matter when money's rolling in and you're winning and all that? Are you really asked about somebody in a nice in Beach Hill like fucking saying I think you're shit or something like that? I don't even lose in Beach Hill. It's just an example kind of thing. But
no, you're not bothered. I mean, it just goes over your head, and there's an handful of people who's doing what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? And there's not many people who's at the top of it, and I'm at the top of it. I'm the UFC, so what can you say?
The elite.
Yeah.
How many people? Are you the only man from Wigan in the UFC? Are you the only Wiganer in the UFC?
No, there's Tom Aspinall, one of my training partners.
Is he from up here? Is he wrestling based and all of that?
He's like Lee Everton way, I think.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so he's but he's near Wigan, I suppose.
Yeah.
Tom.
So, right, from doing MMA, how do you get picked up by the UFC? What goes on? Do they send talent scouts out to fights? I don't know how it works, all this. You know, like saying you went over to MMA and you started winning loads of fights. And then do you get like, how do you end up getting signed by the UFC? How does that work?
So yeah, you gotta make sure you're getting a decent winning streak together, put on some good shows, and beat some good people, legit people.
Yeah.
And then obviously it comes from your management then, who's really, you know, messaging into the UFC, your CV, really who you beat and how you beat them and stuff like that. That's how it works. So you've got to get a good management behind you.
It's like any other aspect of the entertainment industry then, in a sense, isn't it? Because what you are, and part of it is entertainment, isn't it? Because they want a show.
They want fans to buy tickets.
You know, and sometimes do they tell you like to draw it out a bit, or is it not likely?
No, they'd never do that.
No.
They never tell you to draw it out. You know what I mean? A fight's a fight, and
yeah.
if you try and draw it out, you could get knocked out.
Well, yeah.
You just got to get out there and fight and put on a show, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
Build the fight up.
Yeah. It's showbiz, but with more blood and guts kind of thing, isn't it? Let's see what we've got here. Bordy. This is the man who started. He's here now. Thank you, Bordy. Who was your idols growing up in Wigan? And if you could fight any fighter, past or present, where would it be and who?
Couple of good ones.
Can I just ask you something about that? Yeah. From being a wrestler, was the Dynamite Kid an idol, or was that kind of like over there in the WWF?
More WWF.
Yeah.
And it was like WWF was like the obviously the opposite kind of put our sport down a little bit, because ours is real freestyle Olympic wrestling, theirs is like fake.
Fannying about, like...
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, they're athletic and
yeah.
You know what I mean, they must train hard to look the way they look and whatever, but it's they have to know techniques and stuff, but it's just that it's fake, innit? And
so I never knew that. I thought you like all wrestlers would kind of look up to them as like that's where you want to go, but it's not. There's the kind of like you're kind of like the purists of the sport, and they're like make a mockery of it in like pink hats and fucking sunglasses and things like that. So, but in back to Bodie's question, so did you have any idols growing up in Wigan?
In Wigan.
Yeah, that's all this question is. I suppose we can elaborate on it. There's not many idols you can have in Wigan, really. I suppose.
I didn't really have any idols. If there was anyone who I liked, probably because he was totally opposite to me, he's Mike Tyson. I know he's not from Wigan, obviously, but he just because of the way he was, and there's not many been like him or like him, and my personality is not like his, so I suppose I admired that. Yeah. The fact that he was aggressive and very he was unreal as a boxer, wasn't he?
What did you think of that Roy Jones thing they did when he had that?
Didn't watch it.
I turned it off,
and then when they said, obviously, I mean, not that I want to see anyone get knocked out, when they said there's no knockouts and all that type of stuff, but I just didn't watch it. I just thought it's a bit too...
No, I watched it. Did you see it, Colin? A bit of it? And there was no audience there because all this fucking carry-on's going on. And they were just in a black room, two in a ring, and like, it was just fucking weird. I thought the audience is... the vibe, innit? They bring the energy kind of thing, you know what I mean? Do you sometimes feed off that energy?
Yeah, you do hear it. I mean, I thought I'd be fine, because I fought in Abu Dhabi with no fans. And I was fine, you know what I mean? But it just took longer for my adrenaline to kick in. When I walked out in London on my debut, and the fans were there, loads of Wiganers were there, and it was good, I was walking out, you could hear them, and your adrenaline just kicks in straight away. This is fucking real, this. You know what I mean? You're walking out to UFC, you're coming into your debut stuff. It was like I said, my adrenaline was there. But whereas when I walked out in Abu Dhabi with no fans, you could hear like commentators talking about your chairs moving and just unusual sounds that you wouldn't usually hear. So your adrenaline on that didn't kick in. It kicked in when I touched gloves with my opponent. That was it. I
mean, I can't obviously know how you go through, but when I've been doing stand-up gigs and sometimes an important gig, and you're backstage and you're waiting to get on and it's coursing through you, and I might be thinking, like, why the fuck am I doing this with my life? I don't know if you think anything like that, like thinking, why do you ever think like that? Is it just my
It has happened, James. You think, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm going in the cage for fighting with a man, do you know what I mean?
Why not to get a fucking job at a forklift in Asda or something like that? No, but you're doing the right thing.
It's the right thing, because there's just no feeling like it.
Yeah.
And there's just... I think people, I mean, obviously not everyone's going to be a fighter, but I think people who's not tried it, they're missing out. There's just not no feeling like that. You feels out of body. Do you know what I mean? For me, away from fighting, I'm like the nicest person you'll ever meet. I'm down to earth. I'm humble. But when I go to fight, it's like I can be different, if you know what I mean. Like it brings it out to me, you know what I mean? It's like it's hard to explain, but
I saw like when like I said, you're a nice lad, and it's the alter ego thing, isn't it? It's like in a way it is a performance, isn't it? It's act's the wrong word, because you know what I mean. People say it's an act because they're putting it on, but the fighting isn't being put on, but the mental the mask drops kind of thing.
It is. Like, you probably said it there. Like my dad's been to. He comes to every fight, but when I went to Brazil and I fought in Brazil, he was in my corner. He was in the back with me and stuff, and he said he's never seen me like this. He said just 10 minutes before I went out, he just like my face just changed, the glaze. It was like a glaze. My eyes glazed over, and I just changed. Like I was there, but no one was home. You know what I mean? It was like that. So I just changed as that person, and he was like, I was fully focused, and he could see a difference in me.
It's like I used to be proper into Bruce Lee when I was a kid, like, you know what I mean, and his philosophies and his books and shit like that. And I remember him saying something like, you do martial arts so many times, whatever, that eventually you wouldn't do it it does it.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
true,
That kind of like, you've probably reached a stage now. It's like somebody to equate it to when they drive. Sometimes when you're driving in your car and you pull up and you're like, how the fuck have I got here? Have you ever done that where it's just kind of like, it's automatic and you don't do it.
Yeah, you just got to trust your body. Body just takes over all the training you've done. And like you say, it's just like, if you start thinking about throwing that right hand, you're going to miss probably 9 times out of 10. But it's just when you just do it, it's like you say, your body just takes over.
Well, it's like once your mind, your mind starts getting involved and start overthinking and things, and then it knocks it for six kind of thing.
Yeah, 100% it does then.
Yeah. So when you have you had any low points in it? But the broken jaw, was that the lowest point you've had in your career of fighting?
There's been fucking loads of
really?
low points. Yeah. Within not just injuries, just like I say, through my wrestling career, that wasn't a popular sport, so there was no money. There's no money in it. You're just following that dream to be a wrestler or to medal at the Commonwealth Games or Olympics or whatever. You're just following that dream and that's it. So there's so many other people that I'd say suffer with you, suffer around you. My wife, my kids, they can't always get the things that they want because the money's not there. Stuff like that, just because I'm following a dream. So you see that sometimes. And there's been times where I thought, probably during my pro career, and there was only bits, domestically there's not as much money to live off to fight. And it's not all about money. I don't want to just bang on about money. It's not all about money. No. It's about, being the best I can be. And getting to the highest level I can, put on performances. But to a certain extent you need money to fucking do that. So, your family's sometimes suffering with you because you're a dream. So that's tough in itself. Financially it's tough. But yeah, there has obviously been injuries and you think, fuck, well, am I going to be able to do this again?
So there's been times like where you've been torn thinking, really, I should be helping my family get better things, but then again, I want to do this. So there's been like that head fuck of like,
It is. You're always in limbo a little bit.
So you've had to really struggle financially at some points to like. Did you have to take normal jobs and things like that and like marry things together with the training and stuff?
Yeah. You had to just have to do what you could. I mean, like, obviously I've been able to wrestle from a young age, so doing coaching privates, coaching wrestling. Yeah. I have my own gym now. That obviously helps. But yeah, financially, early doors is really tough. Yeah. Really tough. But you just got to go through it, haven't you? And work hard and believe in the process, and eventually something will come. And for me, I've got to the top level. I've just got to stay at the top level and keep racking up the wins, really.
I heard you on that one. I heard you talking about an interview with you're into sports psychology.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So is the mental? Obviously, you've just said what you just spoke about. Then the mental attitude. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to do it. Is that a big thing for you? The mindset.
Mindset in fighting is massive, more than people think. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, you could be the most skilled and fit and strong whatever person going into that cage, but if you've not got the mindset for it, it's never going to come together. There's lads in the gym who train with us, or I've seen lads in gyms and in the gym they're fucking world class. They go to fight and it just all goes tits up. Do you know what I mean? But that's just your mind. You're talking yourself out to it, and you're being negative kind of thing, and it's your mind is definitely everything in fighting.
So what goes on? Do you consult a sports psychologist? Do you go seeing one sometimes?
There's one of my mates who's from Bristol. I've known him since I was a kid. He was a wrestler when I was a kid. Somebody who was a good wrestler, a bit older than me, but I never knew he was a psychologist. And then only recently we started talking again, and he's a sports psychologist, and I've started speaking to him about stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that he's just reminding me of things, and he's going through sports psychology stuff with me now, and I'm interested in it anyway, not just for me. One, to help me with my coaching. Two, to help my son who's coming up now. He's 16, he's doing great, and he's a good little fighter. And one thing I didn't have when I was wrestling at 16, I didn't have sports psychology or anything like that. No. It was just me working hard, grinding, trying to get through to where I want to be. And now, obviously, I can implement to him all my mistakes that I've made. To make sure he doesn't make them, and also, pass on that sports psychology side of things. So that's why I'm doing as well to pass on to him.
But what does it entail? Is it like neuro-linguistic programming and things like that, or is it just certain psychological techniques kind of thing?
He doesn't go into obviously like the scientific side of it all, you know, your brain works and that type of stuff. He will sometimes mention it, but it's like maybe one we're working on right now is just like causing, like the one we're working on now is, you know, he's making me practice when I go into sparring, you know, causing chaos to my opponent.
Okay.
So basically it's hard to explain because I'm just still learning it, but it's basically putting them under pressure. So then, you know, their way of thinking is panic. You put them in panic mode, and then
so you scramble them. So
so it might be just starting off really fast, or for example, I might throw a jab, keep it dead same, and then eventually I'll switch it and do something else because your brain's thinking, oh, he's going to throw a jab because I've thrown it 6 times. So then I'll switch it up and maybe try a kick or whatever. But it's just about playing with people's minds, you know, your body language, all that type of stuff as well, really. But psychologically, I do like it. I enjoy it.
What's the best mindset of a fighter? Is like I used to have fights when I was younger. I was shit. Right, I'd fucking panic and start just scrambling and like you know. But I've read up like a few boxing things, Joe Frazier and various books and. Do you have to go into that ring or cage in this occasion like with like a cool like you really calm in your head? Is that what it is? It's like chess.
Everyone's different, I'd say. Me, I like to go in really relaxed. Do you know what I mean? When I'm in the changing rooms, like before I'm warming up, I've got my feet up going to sleep, and then I'll warm up. So I like to get in a relaxed state of mind, and I feel that's when I perform my best. I don't want to go in. Some fighters like to go in fucking angry and jumping mad. But me, no, I'm a relaxed person.
Do you ever get scared like before a fight, or do you not? Because you
get everything.
Yeah.
You get nervous. You get scared. You get butterflies. You get feelings where fucking hell, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? You get every feeling going, but then when it's all over, it's unreal.
Glory in it.
Do you know what I mean? But
me saying glory in it like I fucking know.
Well, yeah, you get every feeling. Do you know what I mean? You get the feeling. You know, you get them at different stages. You get that. You know, you get that feeling when your opponent comes through on your email. This is who you're fighting. You know, your contract comes through. You sign your contract. You get a bit of nerves. You get. You know, a month out. I usually get. That's when I get most nervous. A month out. I don't know why it's a fucking month out, but it is a month out from my fight. That's when I get a bit more nervous, and then. My fight week is probably my most relaxed week.
Yeah.
But then you get your nerves again with the fight day. You wake up in the morning, fucking hell, I'm fighting today. Fucking hell, you know what I mean? So
I watched the documentary. I don't know who done it, and it's only what your wife was on it and that. And you don't discuss fighting at home, do you? It's just like that's in the gym, so that there'll be what we're watching on Netflix. There'll be no like talk of fighting in your race and stuff like that, you know.
No, not really, because we live it. It's because I don't even just go to fighting and come home. I'll go to fighting and train myself. I'll come home, have a few hours, and then I'll probably go back coaching because I coach obviously the kids wrestling and the coach MMA and stuff like that. And I've got my own gym, so it's like I say, I live the life of it. And then even my son's fighting now, so he might come in and ask me a question. So we do from time to time again, but I won't sit down and speak to my wife really about fighting or anything like that. And we don't really watch it, apart from, you know, maybe me and my lad might watch every now and again, but not much. I don't watch it in between the fight week in that much. So
does your missus go to fights with you, like the ringside?
It's not ringside. She's.
Oh, sorry,
she's been
cage side.
Yeah,
I'm
cage
sorry,
side.
pal. I'm a knobhead. I apologise to everyone in the UFC community. Thanks.
She's been to all my fights.
Yeah.
But since obviously apart from my last one because that was in Abu Dhabi, but she went to my UFC debut and then she said she won't go to any more now. She won't go to any more.
Just one for now.
Just because it's so different. Do you know what I mean? Like. Usually you're fighting in sports halls in UK, you know, and just your mates and that are there. And then when you go to obviously fighting at O2 Arena and you've got packed out, you know, sold out stadium.
Yeah. Different,
it's just a different kettle of fish. You know what I mean? There's just the atmosphere is different. So she felt it. She was in the stands and she was watching with my dad and that.
Yeah.
I don't let my mum go and watch. Me lad won't watch either. But no, even though he's involved with fighting, but he won't watch. So she won't watch it again. I don't think. Even at home when it was on TV, my last fight, she said she didn't want to watch it.
It's your early days must have been like the first Rocky film, wasn't it, where he's fighting in his like Charles
Fighting
and things.
for his locker, was it?
Yeah, something like that. You know, I'm not saying you fought people like Spider Rico or that, but we've not answered Bodie's question. So who would you love to fight and where, if you could?
He always said I'd like to fight because I think stylistically it's a good fight. It's Chad Mendes.
Yeah.
You might not know who he is, but he's
I'll nod my head, but I don't know the foot is.
You won't know who he is. Probably. I think he's retired now. But I mean, he went for a belt a couple of times. He lost, but he went for a belt a couple of times at my weight. But stylistically, he's got good wrestling. And he's got good strikes to wrestling and stuff like that. So I think it'd be a good fight. Other than that, probably Conor McGregor, obviously, because the payday is massive. You know what I mean? You're getting a lot of money when you fight that guy.
I watched that. So because I've been researching the UFC, I've never really known much about it. And the press conference between him and that Khabib, you know, he's screaming and shouting and that. And I thought, you know what? And then he threw that fucking thing that coach what Khabib was in and things. And I thought, you know what? He gave him a good fucking harding into that Khabib.
Khabib one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get his name
good,
wrong.
Khabib, very good. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's wrestling. But his game plan, you know what I mean? Everyone knows what he's going to do, but they just can't stop it.
Well, is he like you? Was he from a wrestling background?
Yeah, he come from a sambo wrestling background, so he's obviously got really good jiu-jitsu. So he's implemented that into his game and he's dominated. And he's 29. He's 29 now. He's never been beat.
What is there any particular nationality that are really good at MMA, or is it just like general? You can't really say.
I mean the Russians are very well rounded. I mean, they've been fighting since they were fucking babies.
Yeah.
And they all, you know, I mean, they have these sports schools over there and stuff like that where if they're half good at sport, they take them out of school and they go and just go to sports school. So they do 90% sport and then 10% school. So it's like that's the way they work. I've been to Russia a good few times training for wrestling. Right. And it's just a different way of living out there. It's just a tough place. And yeah, I'd say the Russians are they're not dominating or anything like that. They're not the best at every weight and stuff, but they've got the select few they've got in. You know it's going to be a good fight.
Right. Blanked. Don't worry, Mike. I'll get something. I do this, and it's my Alzheimer's creeping on. Don't worry about that. I had something to say then. It wasn't of world importance, but it would have been important to me. But we've got another question here anyway to save my skin. Michael Owens. Being a wrestler first, before a mixed martial artist, if you had to choose Olympic gold in freestyle or UFC featherweight gold, what would you choose? And he says, keep on going, mate. You'll do good things in the UFC. I used to enjoy training at your gym many years ago. His name's Michael Owens. He's a bit of a thief too, so if any tracksuit tops went missing, it's probably...
That's a good question. That's a tough one, to be honest. Because obviously... I always wanted to be Olympic medalist.
Was that kind of your ultimate dream?
Ultimate. As a kid, growing up, I started wrestling at 6. First few years were just messing about with wrestling, you know what I mean, fun and just enjoying it. But then when I got to, I think I went to America when I was 9. Really? Because one of my coaches was from America, so I went there and trained over there. And then I thought I want to be Olympic medalist, gold medalist. That's fucking hard. That.
Is that like is that you can't go no higher than that in wrestling? That's the top.
Olympic gold medalist, yeah. It only comes every 4 years, doesn't it? The Olympics, so yeah, to win an Olympic gold medalist, then.
So what happens to most wrestlers after they've say you reach that height of the Olympic gold? You just probably move into coaching or getting your own wrestling school.
You can come back for another Olympics. You can come back and win another World Championships. World Championships every year in wrestling, but the Olympics is every 4 years. But yeah, you want to do as much as you can within reason. But
like you said, there's the money situation, I suppose, when there's not much money about in the Commonwealth. Is the money when you win the gold, or you still not?
No, so it's weird with UK, with Team England. like I got a bronze in Commonwealth Games, but like for example, if I represented somebody like India and got a bronze, I would have got about £75,000.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
they pay. If you get a medal, like first place, we've got I think like 200,000 or something. If you got first place for India, even these other like Nigeria and places like they're giving me the medal. They give money for the medal. But England don't do anything like that.
They don't support their athletes in England so much. No.
I mean they do, but they just don't. They don't give them. They won't give them money if they get a medal. And if it maybe Olympics, it might be different. I don't know, but yeah.
So
what was the other one? What he said? He said, "Oh no, sorry, I didn't even answer that." I just said,
go on, sorry.
It's a tough one, didn't I?
Yeah, it was.
Sorry,
it was the gold one.
Yeah.
But so, do you think you would sacrifice gold for UFC?
I'm gonna go with the UFC featherweight belt.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, there's more money in it as well. You probably
there is more money.
Lamborghini.
Well, you're made for life, and you get a belt.
Yeah.
But
And like we had somebody on here, and he's wrote a question, Stephen Beattie. It's a bit daft, but you're all right. No, he's reputed. He said, this question is right, and I'll explain what the question means first. He had a fight with Michael Bisping in a pub. Do you know where it was? Was it in Clitheroe or something? Michael Bisping.
that's where it's from.
Yeah.
Mike Bisping.
He says he had a fight. I'm not doubting you. He says he had a fight with Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
And it culminated in bashing Michael Bisping with a beer crate and knocking him out. Yeah. Michael Bisping is denying it on Twitter at the moment. I don't know. Anyway, and his question is, what's more scary, Mike Tyson or some bell end with a beer crate?
I say the fucking beer crate's unfair. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It should be like.
He needs to stand there like a man and fight, doesn't he?
Yeah. Or unless if Michael Bisping has a crate as well.
Well, yeah.
You could have Crate FC or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been a different story if he didn't have his crate.
I'm making things
Mike Bisping's a fucking hard man, isn't he?
Would you move to America if when it all opens up again? 'Cause I'm sure you're going to do good things. We only have winners in this studio, Mike. Apart from me, I have a special permit off council that says I can be here like for my mental health kind of thing. But would you move to America and live there? Or are you a Wigan lad through and through?
Oh, I'm definitely a Wigan lad through and through. I mean, fucking hell, born in Durham Street, brought up in Aspel. But no, I wouldn't. I mean, because to me, where I train in Liverpool is for me the coach and the gym and the lads is the best gym in the world.
Yeah.
There's lads. I know there's lads come from America and trained with us, and they can't believe how fucking hard we train and how tough it is. You know what I mean? And how good Colin our coaches. So no, I wouldn't move. I wouldn't move to America.
Fair play to you. I would, but I don't have the lovely life you have. Yeah. I'm in a council house with no carpets, but I'd probably living in a ghetto with no carpets in America. Who am I trying as a kid? Yeah. Really, but with the skills you have as a fighter, in street situations, you just always have to walk away because you could with shit out. How do you deal with it? I know it might not be a lot of times, but everybody wants.
I've had a fair share,
Really, yeah. Have you had people coming up to you?
Yeah.
Do you get challenged then?
King Street, innit? I mean,
well, you need fucking MMA. Half of them though think they're MMA, don't they? And they do a bit, and they're on beacon. It's bashing it with a bit of beak in it.
That's the problem when they're on beak though; they're unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously younger, really. I mean, when I was just wrestling and stuff, at a younger age, I had a few scraps in King Street, and I mean, I try and stay away from King Street, and if I can walk away, then I walk away. But if it goes off, I'm gonna get stuck in, Anna.
Have a bit of a do.
Yeah, definitely. So and.
Is there no CCTV footage anywhere of you what we can look on YouTube?
Not on YouTube. I don't think so. There might be. I don't know.
So when you get to the top of the UFC, which I'm sure you will, what would you do after? Would you get into films and stuff and you have a Jason Statham look about you? I'm sure you could have I'm sure you could do action films and things. Would you ever consider anything like that?
Whatever opportunity comes in it, you've got to snatch some things like that. But can I date a lad from Wigan with an accent like this?
Man's worse than you. My man, I'm not fucking UFC.
Yours is definitely worse than mine.
Everything about me is worse than you. Yeah. But it's. Thank you very much for coming down and having a chat with me. I really appreciate that. Have you any website links you want? Do you gym or anything we can put on? Well, when gyms open up again, have you any like links we can put under this video for anything at all?
I mean, just follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm on.
We'll sort that. And if you've liked today's show, please subscribe. Smash the dislike or like button. It doesn't matter. It all helps the algorithm. If you want to donate to the channel to help me get some carpets and stuff, it's buy me a coffee or PayPal below this video. Michael, you've been amazing. Will you learn me how to fight if I pay you? I'm serious.
Yeah, you'll have to come to my gym.
I'll wear a mask and all that and sanitise me. But seriously, I'm sick of getting shit off people.
Come down.
I get
a video though. Put on.
Actually, you know what? We did our first outside broadcast. It's us outside broadcast. Who the fuck do you think we are? No, we took our mobile phone to this mad garden centre in Ashton, which is coming up soon. But we could bring our camera to your gym.
I'll teach you some fighting.
Please, yeah. I don't mind if you. I actually deserve to be beaten up a bit, so I don't mind if you fucking.
Me and you'll have a spar.
But I don't want to. I see, my problem when I've done this fighting thing is I don't like hurting people. Not as I could hurt you. But I don't like the idea of hurting you kind of thing, like, you know what I mean? But, you know, if you would teach me how to fight, I'm serious, I'll pay you in Bitcoin or money, whatever currency.
I mean, what is this Bitcoin? I don't even look into it.
Well, I'm on benefits, I don't really know about it, but Colin tells me a lot about Bitcoin. It's kind of like, in its simplest form, it's digital. You know, gold is a store of value because people. We could have a chat about this at some point if you wanted. I'm not like a financial advisor or anything like that, you know. But it's a massive thing. But gold is a store of value. It means like because money isn't backed by gold, it loses its value because every time they have an economy has a crash, they have to print more money.
Yeah. The
more money they print, the paper money devalues. They say it devalues by. This fucking podcast going on a fucking tangent, isn't it? Money devalues by 2% a year. You put your money in gold, it's like a store of value, so your money will never go below the value of gold. And that's basically electronic gold kind of thing, like, you know what I mean?
Sounds fucking complicated.
I don't hold any. Colin told me all this kind of thing, you know. But yeah, Matt, I really want to come to your gym, and you know. And if you're friends with Darren Till, you fetch him down if you want, you know what I mean? And I could give you both a run for your money kind of thing.
He's hard working.
Is there?
Yeah.
Are we shaking hands?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, fuck it.
Thank
you very much for coming down.
No problem.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye from me and Mr. Grundy.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you, Captain.